y'all looking at me thinking, girl, where you been? And I was creatively blocked. So let's get into the science of it. Hey y'all, long time no see, and if this is your first time here, welcome creative. I am Chalice Nelson. I am a licensed professional counselor who thoroughly enjoys supporting creatives in overcoming self-doubt. And this channel is all about supporting people in utilizing their creativity to navigate their emotions and to empower them to live fiercely in this world. So, if that's what you're into, please be sure to subscribe. It will be nice having you around these parts. Alright, so creative blocks. Ever been stuck? Ever had one? I have been working my way out of one, and today we are going to discuss what's happening in the brain and what are some ways to overcome it. First things first, what is a creative block? It's the way in which you are used to your ideas flowing suddenly shifting, and it can lead to frustration, sadness, hopelessness, and a sense of worthlessness. Just to name a few of the different emotions that might come up for someone who is, their identity is tied to their creativity. It can feel like brain fog, it's really hard to pay attention, or it could really just feel like a burnout and exhaustion. Now, you want to know what's happening in the brain? That's a great question, because these scientists are trying to figure that out too. There is limited research on how creativity works in the brain, and studies have been conducted showing that there are a variety of answers demonstrating just how complex the brain is when it comes to this topic. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Wait, is it one thing's for sure, two things for certain? Either way, you feel me. Creativity is spread throughout different portions of the brain. In a previous video, I discussed the cognitive processes that go into creativity. Divergent thinking, and that's where we think of all the possible solutions to a problem. And then we have convergent thinking, and that's selecting out of those options which one might elicit the best outcome. There are a variety of different pathways and processes that the brain can go through to achieve this. And in an article I read regarding research conducted by Young, Mead, Garachi, and Flores, it determined that an increase in gray matter in specific parts of the brain, including the right posterior cingulate gyrus and the right angular gyrus, can yield such. Alright y'all, so let's just be real. It's very evident as I create this video that I was not paying attention in anatomy class, because baby, I don't know where those are. But I did do a little bit more research, and I found that they are in the parietal lobe, which is somewhere like around here in our brain. Their research further concluded that creativity can show up in the right dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the bilateral striatum, the dorsal midbrain, the reticular formation, the periaqueductal gray, the ventral midbrain, and in the precuneus. Now, some of those terms I do remember. Based upon what we do know, creativity does occur when we are able to utilize the following skills: working memory, sustained attention, cognitive flexibility, and fluency in the generation of ideas. So, I know you wondering, what can lead to that? Well, it's an increase in the neurotransmitter dopamine and the neurometabolite N-acetyl aspartate. Now, of course, this depends on where these products increase in different parts of your brain. And it's also important to recognize that lesions or wounds on the brain, such as those resulting from a stroke or something like a traumatic brain injury, concussion, or things of the sort, depending on the location of those lesions, that can have an impact on our creative functioning as well. So I know you over there wondering, how can I get creatively unblocked? Well, before we even dive into that, let me preface this by stating that I am a therapist on social media. I am not a social media therapist, and those things are different, okay? So I want to let you know, I am not making any guarantee that the strategies I present today are the perfect recipe to help you get out of the creative rut that you may be experiencing. What I'm doing is I'm focusing on ways to increase certain skills and functions of the brain that might lead to an increase of creativity. So let's get started with number 1. Drink some water, y'all. If you are watching this when it just dropped, you know, baby, it's hot outside, okay? No matter where you live, temperatures are steadily increasing, and with higher temps, that includes a higher risk of dehydration. Fluid in the brain is critical in being able to think clearly, make rational decisions, and lends to increased insight, which is extremely important for creativity to occur. So, drink your water and be Captain Planet. Captain Planet, he's a hero. I don't know the rest of the lyrics. But in whatever way you see fit, utilize your creativity to help slow down global warming. Let's try to save the planet for real. Number 2, ensure that your diet is nutrient rich for brain functioning, particularly foods that are rich in vitamin B6. That will be things like bananas, dark leafy green vegetables, citrus fruits, chickpeas, and if you consume meat, poultry, and responsibly sourced seafood. A study that was conducted in 2018 demonstrated that for a group of 32 healthy adults who experienced an increase in vitamin B6, demonstrated an increase in the neurometabolite in acetoaspartate. So make sure you're eating good and make sure you're eating right. Numero 3. Engage in healthy dopamine-inducing activities. That will be ensuring that you have a diet with adequate amounts of protein. You limit your consumption of overly processed foods that are high in saturated fats. Engaging in physical activity if you are able, and getting an adequate amount of rest. You know, also listen to music. And if you are not already following me on Spotify and Apple Music, what are you doing? Because I drop a new playlist about every month for your listening pleasure. So if you aren't already following me, be sure to check the description box down below so that you can follow. Number 4, engage in activities that increase the gray matter in your brain. So again, that will be things like working out. You can do puzzles or word games. And don't get me started, okay? Wordle, the mini crossword puzzle from New York Times, Scrabble. They put me in the chokehold. And when people try me, I tell them, baby, I have a 95% accuracy rate with Wordle. My average score in Scrabble is 302. Go play with somebody else. Also, mindfulness is important too, and you can check out my playlist here on YouTube called Creative Flow for some support there. And lastly, number 5, welcome in opportunities to let your mind wander. When we allow our brains to be in the default mode network, our minds have the ability to roam freely, and that's when ideas come to us. One thing that I like to do to get into that headspace is taking about 3 to 5 minutes to stare at a blank wall. We have to practice being in default mode network carefully though, because as much as it is a mind space where we can generate ideas, it is also a space where we can get stuck in our thoughts and ruminate on problems that we may be experiencing. So I've got a bonus tip for you. And number 6 is to identify 1 to 2 activities that you can fully immerse yourself in where your mind doesn't wander. So for me, that will be things like coloring, playing a game like Base 10 or Scrabble, or running whenever I get the chance. With intentionality, an activity like this gives you an opportunity to get back into a clear headspace to resolve whatever may be flooding your brain. And if you combine doing that type of activity followed by doing something like staring at a wall, you may yield better results. Tell me in the comments below if you found this video helpful, and make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and go tell another creative about this video and see if it may help them in overcoming a creative block. As you know, over here we give credit where credit is due, and so I am going to shout out ChatGPT for actually creating the reference list in APA format for you all, which is listed below in the description box. I appreciate you so very much for watching, and I'm hoping to see you sooner than later because the block is not hot no more. It's going away. So I hope to create another video soon, and until then, stay creative, my friends.